Hello, and welcome back to Industry Insider. I'm your host, Allison Rogers. This week, we spoke to Sandy Liguori, the president of Woodchester Auto Group, to hear how it's been managing both a body shop business and dealership services amid the pandemic. Joined by Mike Beier, general manager of Consolidated Collision Services, Sandy says COVID has brought countless changes to the customer landscape, but has also improved communication among partners and colleagues. So, Sandy, thank you for chatting with us today. And just to start, what has your approach been to handling operations amid the pandemic, both on the body shop side and the dealership side?
Well, the process obviously is minimizing the contact. So we're doing it much over the phone with them. We've done some Zoom calls with some of the customers. Again, the scheduling the appointments has been the biggest key. Rather than having everybody show up at the same time, We're scheduling so that there's time in between. And obviously, because we're heavily DRP'd, we don't get to see that, we're getting the assignments through the insurance companies, again, with a big schedule to make sure that we don't have that morning rush or that lunchtime rush. And because people are working from home now, we can manage that better.
Is there, in terms of the customer side, we already talked about it a little bit. A lot of people have been saying the biggest concern have been customers and the sort of, not paranoia, I don't want to say, but the fear, and everyone's kind of scared, kind of easing in back into stage 3 and whatnot now. What have you noticed in terms of the customers through the months? Was there a cautiousness at first? Have things gotten better on both sides?
Yeah, I think, with anything in life, education always improves a way of life. Mm-hmm. So as we were educated, the dangers, we improved systems to go along with it. We've had to adapt into this new way of doing things. So, if a customer comes in, they park their car, we try to do the best to have the minimal contact with keys. We disinfect the car when it comes in so that our techs don't get affected by the virus, and then we disinfect it when we give it back to the customers. Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot of, the pays are done electronically, so that there's no signing work orders and so on. We try to minimize the contact and with customers and making sure that we keep our distance.
Mm-hmm. Have you been using services like virtual claims or photo estimation when it comes to repairs?
Well, it works if you've got a customer that's willing to play the game, right? So, there's some customers out there that don't want to be bothered with it, and they'll bring the cars in. We have taken pictures, but we go back, when you talk about that, I used to remember back in 1980, when I would call a dealer and I would say to them, have a look at the dent. Describe to me what the dent is. Mm-hmm. Is it the size of a dime or a nickel or a dollar? And then I could do an estimate over the phone. Yeah. So we're kind of used to doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's pretty easy for us, and we've done that. The customers have sent pictures from their photo, or they even do FaceTime.
You mentioned the Zoom calls as well. Have you done estimates over Zoom, or has it mostly just been talking to the customers?
No, we've done estimates over the phone.
Oh, that's cool. In terms of repairs and stuff, do you think, and how the adjustments that have been made, everyone's sort of saying we didn't have a playbook for this and we've jumped right into new ways to repair things, or you guys have already been using sort of the over the phone estimates, or you've been doing this estimates through Zoom and haven't had an issue with that, but how do you think the pandemic's going to alter things in the future for maybe even the coming years? We don't have a crystal ball, but what are your predictions?
Well, we're hoping for a vaccine as soon as possible.
Yeah, of course.
It's like we were just talking about that a little while ago. I know that obviously, with the great entrepreneurs out there, there's all kinds of people that are doing the best that they can to come up with solutions such as masks, divider, and so on and so forth. So, I guess necessity is the mother of invention, mm-hmm. right? We're going to invent different things to use in the future that are going to help us to communicate and socialize with this environment. Mm-hmm. So that's going to happen for sure. Yeah. Humans are highly adaptable creatures, and we're going to adapt to this.
Insurer relationships have been a big topic as well. And you mentioned you're DRP heavy. Have you noticed sort of adjustments there?
Well, obviously, the meetings that we've had with the DRPs have been minimized. We've done a lot of Zoom meetings, obviously. But no, I don't think that the relationship is compromised because of that, because obviously the human factor of being close together in the same room is missing.
Yeah.
But this communication, I think, is more enhanced more than anything else. Mike, what do you think?
It's more, so there's a couple of different ways you can look at it. We're still having the same meetings, and we're doing the same things we've always been doing, just not doing it face to face. And, perhaps maybe there's a more of a level of understanding of what's going on, and like they sort of, there's a more human side to it. So, we're doing the best we can to take care of their customers and our staff and everybody involved. And, they've got, they're cutting maybe a little bit of slack here and there, and, or, they're just allowing you to do what you have to do, based on your situation. But it's also been a good time to clean up, a lot of that stuff with your partners that, kind of drags out or you need answers on or whatever. Everybody's got time to focus on it and, get down to coming out of it stronger and sorting out some of those long-term things. So a good time probably. We're probably more connected with our insurance partners and with our CCS members than we've ever been in terms of touching them and seeing them on a regular basis. We could do 10 Zoom calls a day versus seeing 2 customers in person.
Yeah,
so it's way more productive.
Like on the corporate side, how has CCS been supporting its shops and whatnot?
Well, there's been a whole bunch of stuff that we did. So very, very early on, we launched our Count on Us campaign, both Consolidated dealers and CCS. And for our CCS members specifically, that meant number one, responding financially to their needs. So we were able to trim our fees, and we're still doing that until it recovers.
That's great.
And then really from there, it's what can we do to support them, during this time. And we chose to focus on training. So we had over 40 training sessions that we ran online for our network over the course of about 16 weeks. Focused big on their insurance performance and scorecards and really getting them ready for when that volume comes back to perform. And helping them, just like Sandy said, sort of clean up some of that stuff that they've always meant to get done, and make the most of their business as it is and train the folks.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Well, we did note our increase our improvement.
Oh yeah, and then the other piece, you want to talk about the proofs in the pudding is that talking to our insurance partners, because we have so many Zoom meetings with them now about our performance, is that they've actually seen our performance go up because of this, because of a lot of the stuff that we've done. So
that's
great.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's another cliche. We're doing a lot more with less.
Yeah. Well, glad to hear things have been going well over there for both Sandy and the Woodchester Group, as well as Consolidated Collision Services. Thanks for chatting with us today, Sandy and Mike. And thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Industry Insider. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Google Play Music for new episodes.